Do y'all get like a lot of pushback on, mercury in the fish?
They test the fish monthly for mercury, for radiation, and also for histamines. We're also catching all of our fish in like the cold North Pacific, off the North Pacific coast. And there's different stocks of albacore tuna. These specific tuna are in the colder water, which is lower mercury levels to begin with. And so they are younger, mature albacore. And so that helps with a lot of the health benefits that you're actually, and nutrition value that you're getting from this fish. The level that the FDA sets is below 1 parts per million, and ours, the last report I looked at, ours tested at 0.11 parts per million in the fish.
And we're live. Jessica, how you doing this fine day?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you very much. How about yourself?
I am doing wonderfully well. So just to give the listeners some context, how you and I got connected here, you DM'd me on Instagram, I believe, and you're like, hey, can we send you some of our tuna to try? And to be honest with you, I had burnt myself out on tuna for years with my like bro bodybuilding days because I was living off of canned tuna and water, like Star-Kissed tuna. And it's like, I can do sardines, I can rock cod liver, but I'm kind of burnt out on tuna. But let's try it. And you sent me some, and it's amazing. It's super tasty, delicious. So I've been eating that on a daily basis here.
Good. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, it's very different than kind of the chicken that you see, a lot of the traditional canned albacore tunas that you see on the shelf. So we're trying to do something different with it for sure. And it is, when we give it to people to taste, they're like, wow, this is not what I'm used to. This is not the tuna I grew up on.
And like your packaging is legit. Like it's all like that craft packaging, and it just looks very nice, very appealing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, trying to do something that represents the craft piece of it and the hands-on. I personally wrap all the cans at this point and do all the packaging. So thank you.
Very cool. So I perused on your Instagram after you sent the tuna because I wanted to kind of learn more about the business. And this is honestly the catalyst for this call because y'all are definitely doing it differently beyond just the packaging. I mean, y'all are out there like with the boat, catching the fish with a line, not a net, like doing it the right way organically, which is just awesome. So I want to hear all about that, like the business, the lifestyle. Like how does one get into the world of commercial fishing to begin with?
Okay. Yeah, I started kind of in the fishing industry while I was going to college. I worked on sport fishing boats to kind of put my way through the financial piece of it, to put my way through college. I fell in love with it. By the time I was getting ready to graduate, I had enough time to get a captain's license. So I went ahead and did that. I have a 100-ton captain's license and continued working on sport boats after I graduated as a captain. Loved it. Decided to walk away from it. My other passion is health and nutrition. My undergraduate degree from Cal Poly was in nutrition, and kind of trying to decide how I was going to incorporate that into my profession. And so I became a nurse practitioner, and that's kind of my side of things. My husband, JJ, who I own the company with, he has been fishing since forever. It's the only job he's ever had. He started in the sport fishing industry until about 15 years ago and then transferred over into the commercial fishing side of things. And yeah, so we are a fishing family. It's what we do now. JJ's fishing season is he leaves in about June and comes back end of October-ish. So he's gone fishing for those 5 months out of the year. And yeah, it's definitely a different lifestyle, but we are trying to do something different with the brand. Like you said, we kind of think of it almost like the regenerative farming or that kind of movement on land is what we're doing on the ocean. So JJ, we own the boat that JJ fishes on, his commercial fishing boat. And every single fish that we put into tins is caught by him. So in his crew, he does have a small crew that he works with, but he runs the boat. And so, yeah, having that transparency of this fish that you're eating, you know the name of your fisherman, you know exactly where it came from, you know exactly how it was processed, was our goal with starting this company.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like I've been diving deep into the regenerative agriculture stuff. Like I've had Will Harris on the podcast, went to his farm, and I've tried to eat everything that I consume and my family, stuff that we've, sourced regeneratively and or harvested or raised ourselves. And it only makes sense to do the same thing with what you're eating from the water. So I would assume that what y'all are doing is a far cry from what the standard is for sure. But like, are there any others doing what you're doing, or is it pretty much a total outlier?
Yeah, so there are other people fishing the way we fish. So we fish everything. Each fish is caught one at a time. So there's no nets, nothing like that. So every single fish is caught with a pole and a line, or jig fishing, which jig fishing is running lines behind the boat, but still each fish is caught one at a time and they're hand lined, pulled in. The fish is taken off the hook and then move on to the next fish. And so it is a lot different. There's a lot of different methods for fishing albacore, but there's so many benefits to doing it the way we do, from a sustainability aspect. First of all, we have no bycatch. We're not disrupting marine eco environments, with the dragging nets or anything like that. We are only catching what we intend to catch. And we're also able to kind of target fish the size that we want. So
Mm-hmm.
the fish that we're catching are in this like 10 to 20 pound range. We don't keep anything smaller than 10 pounds. And so they are younger, mature albacore. And so that helps with a lot of the health benefits that you're actually, and nutrition value that you're getting from this fish. So it's kind of twofold. So the way we're doing it is better for the environment. It is considered the most eco-friendly way of fishing because there is no other disruption to the environment or to other species. And the nutrition benefits also are far and above the other ways, the other methods of fishing. To give you an example, another popular way that albacore are caught is on long lines. And
Mm-hmm.
that's a little bit of a confusing thing, I think, for consumers because they're looking for maybe pole caught. We're pole and line caught. And some tuna is advertised as line caught, which you would think is the same thing. With a line, the fish is caught. But this is, maybe 50 miles, 40 miles worth of a line in the water with 5,000 hooks on it coming off of it. And it kind of sits there for a period of time and then the line is pulled up. Well, it's very non-discriminate. You might catch some albacore, you might catch some other fish, you might have turtles, sharks, other things that are also being caught on that line. But it's still considered line caught. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not using a net. So I think people sometimes get that confused. Even some of my own family members who I talk about this all the time, and we're surprised to hear that line caught and pole and line caught are not the same thing. So,
Kind of like the whole thing with eggs, like eggs marketed in the grocery stores. I mean, you've got like your free range eggs, you've got your open. I don't even know all the different
right, yeah,
definitions,
you see
like
cage
misleading.
free,
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, that's fantastic. They're not in cages. Well, that doesn't mean that they're pasture raised.
right,
There's a
exactly.
lot of confusion with that.
What do y'all get like a lot of pushback on? Mercury in the fish. Like, what's the response to that? Because like when people think of tuna, they automatically default to mercury if they're in the know about nutrition at all.
Right. Yeah. And so mercury, it's been pretty heavily tested. And so our fish, we are part of AFA, the American Albacore Fishing Association, which is a fantastic organization. And one of the things that they do is they test the fish monthly for mercury, for radiation, and also for histamines. And because of the smaller fish, and we're also catching all of our fish in like the cold North Pacific, off the North Pacific coast. And there's different stocks of albacore tuna. These specific tuna are in the colder water, which is lower mercury levels to begin with. And then because we're catching the fish smaller, what you have to worry about mostly with mercury is bigger fish.
Mm-hmm.
And albacore can grow to, 50 pounds. We're getting them at a younger or a smaller size, and they don't have that time to accumulate mercury. Um, the level that the FDA sets is below 1 parts per million, and ours, the last report I looked at, ours tested at 0.11 parts per million in the fish. So the mercury level is very, very low, which actually is lower than some of the other tunas that are out there sold as low mercury tuna, like a skipjack or a yellowfin tuna. Sometimes those are considered lower mercury than albacore. But the albacore that are being talked about mostly are these larger albacore caught in other parts of the world,
Gotcha. Makes total
in maybe
sense.
warmer waters. There's a brand that says that, they're the lowest mercury out of any other brands out there. And I think their level of acceptable mercury is 0.38. And again, ours is testing about 0.11. So I don't worry about the mercury content for my kids, for my family. And I think it's really not, it should be a concern, but with this specific method of catching fish, the size of fish, and where they're being caught, it really mitigates all of those.
And I would assume your
Concerns.
family eats quite a bit of the tuna you catch, so y'all haven't turned into thermometers yet.
No, no, no. We're doing good. My kids are super healthy, and yeah, and they love it. We eat a lot of fish. We also, um, you know, eat other animals and stuff. But like you said, we are pretty particular about where we source it from. And between JJ does some hunting, and then buying from a local rancher.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, like from a business standpoint, the regenerative market has grown, especially in the last 3 years, it seems. And they're like the direct to consumer meat companies have kind of found a pathway going direct to consumer as opposed to going through the beef commodity systems that have always been in place. Is it kind of like the same thing for the fishing industry? Like, are y'all able to have a niche market for people that want to source food doing what y'all are doing? Or is it like just super cutthroat with all these big fishing companies that are, have the larger volumes, obviously, and can drive down the margins?
Yeah, our margins are pretty small. But yeah, it is. We know that there are people out there looking for this. We are looking for this. This is what we look for in our food. So we know there's a market for it. I think one of the biggest challenges is educating people
Hmm.
on the differences, and getting through those kind of barriers. But we fish. That's what we do. I think that JJ's expertise in fishing has helped to kind of steer us in the right direction. Um, we, yeah, I think a lot of what drives down the price is a lot of fish is not caught in U.S. waters. So that's one
Hmm.
thing. A lot of it's caught overseas and in using different methods, right? So being able to harvest larger amounts. And then we are fully domestic supply chain. So our fish is caught here in the United States. We have it canned here in the United States, and then it's all shipped and taken care of here. Um, a majority of the fish, if not, I don't know the exact percentage, but I would bet to say 95, 97% of the fish that is sold is canned in other countries. So
Wow.
that can also lower the cost pretty drastically. So coming up against that and trying to figure out how we can, we know we also can't it has to be affordable. It has to be able to make sense for people. And so that has kind of been, in starting this business, a little bit of the challenge of not compromising on any of our standards and not going to a less expensive cannery. And the cannery we use is an artisanal cannery in Oregon, and it's going to be more expensive than in Thailand or some of these other places where the big companies are able to or are getting their fish processed.
Yeah, it's tough when you're doing it all that you can in house. I mean, you're like I said, packaging and shipping the orders yourself. But man, it's like so much more fulfilling when you're doing something that you know is making a difference and you can like see the fruits of your labor unfold. I mean, like same thing with the keto brick. Like we don't have very good margins either, but I'm proud of what we're putting out into the world. And like that means something. You know, I can go to sleep at night exhausted, but feel good about how I lived my day that day. And
Totally.
I just love talking to other business owners that are creating something that they personally had a need for, like to feed your own family, and it just yeah, I think the cream always rises to the top, as they say, and the margins may never be there, but you'll have a demand from people that understand why you're doing what you're doing and appreciate it and are willing to pay for it, and hopefully that demographic of people is always there to get that quality.
Yeah. And, I think an advantage that we do have is that we're hitting a lot of marks that, from a nutrition standpoint, from um, it being really an easy kind of packable protein that you can take, and it's so versatile. You can use it in so many different ways. And then also the sustainability piece of it. I think it's pretty amazing where we're going as a country. I think a lot of people are looking for more solutions to sustainable, whether it's farming or fishing, and the traceability. People want to know where their food's coming from, at least a certain population, and trying to um, which, like you said about the eggs, you can be attempting to do all these things, attempting to buy the right things for your family to find out, oh, cage free doesn't mean pasture
Hmm.
raised. I've been spending an extra $3 on these eggs to get pretty much the same thing. Um, so it is a bit of education. And I don't think that there's many people doing what we're doing. So it is kind of trying to go out there and spread the word.
Yeah, and you'll package it in like olive oil too, so you're not cutting corners there as well. I mean, I was amazed at how many because I haven't bought tuna in a long time because, like I said, I was burnt out on it. But I, out of curiosity, just was flipping over cans the other day, and that's like an oddity these days. Like most of them are packaged in soybean oil, and it's like, why?
Right. Yeah. And so we also, what some of the fish we're getting processed right now, we'll be doing a just albacore. So just the fish, no water added. There is a lot of soybean oil added to a lot of these fish, not in ours. We have nothing added to it. And then just the fish and a salt. And one thing that makes it us able to do that is most canned albacore comes into a processing facility. The entire fish is cooked,
Mm-hmm.
skin on, everything. It's cooked. It's taken out of whatever they cook it in. They fillet it, they cut it into chunks, they put it into your can, and then your can is cooked, right? To make it a canned fish.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our process is very different. The fish is filleted before it's cooked. And so that fillet, it's hand cut. There's a person with a knife on a cutting board cutting that fish, cutting it into fillets. So that whole steak is going into the can. And then one time is getting cooked. So all of the natural oils and omega-3 fatty acids and all of those, the high nutrient content is depleted a lot of times by cooking it twice, where our fish is only cooked once. It makes a big difference. A lot of times, if you cook the fish first and then you're cooking it a second time, you need to add broth or
Mm-hmm.
these other things to make it palatable. Our fish is just cooked once. So it maintains that high nutrient density that as eating it fresh. And that's another reason. And we do use the olive oil as kind of a premium product. And I don't know if you've tried it just plain or what you've been doing with it, but we love to just open it up and have it on crackers just like
Yeah.
that, or just plain, or it is tender and has enough flavor and not dry to just put it on a salad or put it, add it to whatever you're going to add protein to.
Yeah, well, it definitely tastes better. I mean, there's like a notable difference in taste from that and other cans of tuna. So you're doing something right for sure.
Yeah,
Um, what does the I actually just watched Captain's Courageous the other day with my 3-year-old son, the old Captain's Courageous, and he was digging it. So what does a day in the life of being on the water fishing for 5 months look like? Like when he leaves, when did y'all start the business?
So just this year is when we've actually
Wow.
started, launched our website. And we've been canning it for a while, and just kind of friends and family and everyone's been pushing us. You need to sell this. Where could I get more? When can I get more? Oh, we don't have any more. So everyone's kind of been pushing us, but we just actually launched our website a couple of months ago. So it's
Awesome.
very new.
It's exciting. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So he takes off, you said in March?
He's in June,
In
sometime
June.
in June. Yeah.
And then
Mid-June.
what does that look like? Like he's on the water for 5 months straight. Like what does a day to day in the life of commercial fishermen look like?
So he, it kind of fluctuates throughout the season, but he comes in he provisions the boat for about 30 days. So before the boat leaves, it's basically going grocery shopping, eating, all of those things to get provisions for the boat, all of the supplies you're going to need for about 30 days at sea. Depending on how fishing is, some trips could be as short as 2 weeks. So sometime between 2 weeks and 30 days, he will come into port and offload his fish and get groceries, reprovision, get fuel, all of those things. So he's not out for the 5 months. But again, those trips into port are just 24 hours or so, as fast as he can get fish off the boat and get back out there. Day to day, I would say in the Pacific Northwest, days are really long in the summer. So I think they're getting up around 4:30 and kind of going through their morning routine, making sure temperature's right. The boat is a FDA regulated facility as well. So there's a lot that has to happen in making sure temperature and of the fish and everything is on par. So they kind of go through that routine in the morning. And as soon as it starts cracking gray, they have jigs out in the water. They're fishing. And so JJ uses different methods, from water charts to binoculars, everything in his power to and just kind of that 40 years of knowledge added on to figure out where he can be in best position to capitalize on the day. And so he has a crew down there, and so they will be jig fishing. They're catching fish. They're pulling them in one at a time. At some point, some guy makes breakfast. They eat, and that's kind of it. They go through the whole day. They catch fish. They process them. They're getting them into their fish hold, which is recirculating refrigerated seawater. So the fish are down to 6 degrees, so they're frozen on the boat. Also really great for keeping in that freshness and all the nutrients. And I would say, depending again on the day, he probably goes down maybe about 11 o'clock at night.
Long day.
They're long days. They're
That's a
long
long
days,
day.
and they're 7 days a week for 5 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so
And
it's a
they're
lot of
putting
hard
the
work.
whole fish in the fish hold, or they filleting it? Okay, whole fish in the fish hold. And would it be an FDA? Like, is there like an FDA rep on board the whole time, or how does that work?
There's not one on board, but they are audited by NOAA, the fishing regulatory board in the United States. So they have an onboard inspection every year, and then daily they have to fill out logs saying they have to, I think, do the temperature of the fish 2 or 3 times a day. And then everything else from cleanliness, like crew cleanliness and the working environment, to make sure that it's all up to par and that nothing is getting contaminated.
Yeah. So what is a really solid day of fishing? Like how many fish are brought in on like a really good day?
So it depends. There's 2 different kind of phases, parts of the season, and one is the jig fishing. And so that is trolling a couple lines behind the boat, and you catch a fish and it's brought in. I would say a really good troll fishing day, jig fishing day is maybe like 600 fish.
It's a lot of fish.
It's a lot of fish, especially when you're doing it, hand over hand, one at a time. And then the other part is kind of this centuries that they've been practicing this lift pull, which is like a 9 or 10 foot pole with a 7-foot leader on the end of it, and then a hook that kind of looks like an L.
Mm-hmm.
And they use that. They're in a rack outside of the boat. It's a little tricky to explain, but outside of the boat. And so they're kind of standing in the water, and they use these lift pulls, dip it in the water, and pull out a fish at a time, one at a time.
Yeah.
And those they can catch when it's really good. They have a guy chumming the water with anchovies. When it's really good, I don't know what his best day has been, but it's probably close to 1,000.
Wow.
Fish.
I bet everybody on that crew is jacked reeling all those fish in.
Yeah. It's interesting to see them, because when he's getting ready before the season, the crew's on the boat working, getting ready to take off. It's always really interesting for me to see the transformation from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. Yeah, they work very, very hard. And it is, it is the hard part about it, like farming and so many other things, is there's no guarantee. So
Yeah.
JJ leaves in June, and there's a lot of factors that go into fishing and making your living fishing. And commercial fishermen don't have the luxury of it balances, right? JJ loves what he does, but there are some drawbacks to it. There's no guarantee of income, and there's a lot of risk going
Yeah.
out. So paying for a crew, paying to provision the boat, paying for diesel, paying for, for fuel for the boat, all of these things, which, some seasons it's fantastic and some seasons not so much. So it's definitely, JJ does a really great job of trying to capitalize on the time he has. So those long days are kind of what you have to do to be in the right place at the right time. You can't catch fish on the dock.
That's true. When y'all pulled the trigger and bought your own boat, was that like a super scary moment? It's like, okay, we're really hoping for the best on this one.
Yeah, JJ has owned, he owned 2 sport boats before this, like passenger carrying boats. So he had, this is before him and I were together. And so he, I think, had that kind of down, and buying the commercial fishing boat. Yeah, it was a little bit of a definitely career pivot for him, but he had been in the sport fishing industry for so long. I think he was ready for a new challenge, a new way, and being able to work hard and see the results of working hard. The more fish you catch, the more money you're going to make. And I think that was really attracted to him. But yeah, it's a boat payment is a big one.
Mm-hmm. How do you define sport fish? Like that is people coming in wanting to fish on the blue water and just hiring y'all to take them out, or what's that look like?
Right. So sport fishing would be anything for like recreational. So for instance, the last boat that JJ, sport fishing boat that he owned, was a 65-foot boat that carried oh man, I'm trying to remember now, I believe 24 passengers. And
Wow.
so he would do anywhere from 2-day to 8-day trips with these passengers. So they would load on and he would take, anywhere from 16 to 22 people out fishing for 5 days. And yeah, and then 2-day trips and so on and so on. But any sport fishing would be anything that he was the captain of the boat and he was taking passengers out to catch fish. And there's a lot of regulations and, the amount you can catch and all of those rules apply
Gotcha.
for that.
Gotcha. What, from a family dynamic standpoint, what is that like in y'all's household with him being gone 5 months? You got 2 kids, right?
Yeah, we have 2 kids. It's tricky.
How old are the kids?
My youngest just turned 3 2 weeks ago, and then I have a 4-year-old. So they're very
Nice.
close, and they're little. And it's been changing. So in the beginning, I think it was hard because they were so little. For instance, when my daughter was born, JJ came home for like 3 days. He actually happened to be there when I went into labor, which was amazing. So he was able to be there when our daughter was born, but he had to go back to work immediately after that because it was in the middle of fishing. It was July when she was born. So then I had an 18-month-old and a newborn, which was very hard. And then as they got older, I think in the beginning, it was kind of like, mom's the primary caretaker anyways. Not that, where's dad? But I think it was not as big of a deal. Where this year, our 4-year-old boy was like, dad's going where? For how long? And so that's hard. It makes it challenging for them. But I have some help from family. Family doesn't live near, but my mom will fly down and help stay with me here and there. And I try to visit family as well. So yeah, I mean, we're fortunate that I am able to stay home with the kids and kind of work on the business at the same time. And then our winters are very fun because we get to be as family and do a lot of adventuring together, the 4 of us.
So does he have much work to do during the winter months, or is he able to be pretty much 100% there with y'all throughout the other months of the year?
I would say it's not 100%, but it's pretty close. We have a lot of flexibility. So he might have to go down to the boat for, 3 hours one day, but he can do that whenever. So if we are, if we want to go on a trip or we want to do something else, we spend a lot of time in Baja, Mexico, down there. So we're kind of able to, he does have to work, but again, that's like the great benefit of being your own boss, right? So during those months, he can go in and come home, or we can schedule it, or we can go down there with him too, which is kind of fun to do. So
You're pretty
yeah,
brave though. I mean, we just had our second kiddo, and like I'm at the office all the time, so Crystal's wrangling both of them nonstop, and yeah, like she's whooped by the end of the day. So the fact that you got to do it for 5 months at a time, like that is commendable for sure.
yeah, it's a lot, and it's definitely a lifestyle choice that is for sure. We try to make the most of it by being really intentional with our time when he is home. But it is a sacrifice that we all kind of make to make it work for our family. When we had kids, it was really important that we were raising them. And so prior to this, I was working as a nurse practitioner, and I couldn't continue to do that in a full-time capacity with having these little guys at home, especially when dad's gone 5 months out of the year. But yeah, I know it's a lot. It's we try to. It also has its benefits, right? So before he leaves, it's like, oh, you're leaving in a month. We have to try to take advantage of every single day and every single moment we have. And let's do these fun things, or let's just hang out as a family and let's try to really soak up this time. And then he's gone. And it's like, oh my gosh, we miss each other so much. And the kids miss you. And but we make it work. And then when he comes home, it's like, hooray, you're home. We can all go back to normal, and it's very exciting. So it kind of keeps it always a little bit exciting for us.
Yeah, I think living on the extremes and having those like deeper emotions is way better than just having like an even keel, like kind of normal drab life. I mean, I would think that's how we've approached things,
Mhm.
and I can't imagine doing it any other way.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of in the middle of it now, and it is. I think as a mom, anyways, you're on as a dad as well, but especially for moms in those younger years, you're on 24/7.
Hmm.
But not having your partner there can make things a little bit more challenging. And so when I start feeling that way, I try to remember, if he had a more traditional job where he was gone 8 hours a day and we just had the evenings, would I trade that for these like fantastic months we have when he is home? So it's an interesting trade-off, but he loves what he does. The fishing aspect of it, I think it's really hard for him being away from our family as well. But being able to support him in that career, and then me being able to raise our kids and do that while he's gone, has been really critical for us. And so we're trying to make it work in all those aspects.
What's it like raising the kids? Because you're not doing the nurse practitioner on site anymore. So you're building the business, launched the website earlier this year, rocking that, marketing, all that good stuff, packaging all the orders. Now you've got the two kids. Like, how does your day look on a day to day basis now?
I Every day is different. But I would say they are try to help as much as they can. And I don't know if that is making it more challenging or less challenging in the long run.
Certainly not as
Uh,
efficient, probably.
right. Yeah. But it's classic. My phone will go off, the little ding ding that we got an order in there. Bob, we got an order. We got an order. They're all fired up. So um, it's exciting in that way. And I just try to have activities set up and ready to go for them when I am having to step away and take care of the business stuff. But I take care of a lot of it after they go to sleep, or during slower downtimes. They're outside playing in the backyard. I can bring my laptop out there and work on stuff. Um, I feel fortunate that I am able to be there with them, and so making it work. There's nowhere else I'd rather be
Yeah.
with my kids. We're starting to homeschool my son this year. He'll be starting TK, which is such a funny thing. But and so we'll continue to have him home. That's not going to change anytime. Um,
What are y'all going to do with the homeschooling? Like, is there like a specific curriculum? Because Crystal and I are going to be doing that before long with Rigel, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, how I want to do it, all that good stuff.
Yeah, there's so many different ways that you can go about it, and so many options now. I think in San Diego County, there's like something like 20,000 families that are homeschooling their kids. So there are a range of ways to do it, from putting your kids in like enrichment type classes, doing um, that on one extreme, and then the other extreme being like the unschool method of just we are learning what we do. And the way I have approached it for, I guess, preschool, we didn't really call it preschool, but what we've done so far is just trying to find moments in the day that we can learn, right? So when he was really little, and for my younger daughter, we're walking upstairs and we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we're counting the
Hmm.
stairs, and we're at the beach, and I say, hey, go find me 10 square rocks and 10 circle rocks. And then we get all the
Hmm.
rocks together and we count them. And then, oh, if we add these rocks with these rocks, how many rocks do we have? And so my approach to it, and this may change, but has just kind of been using our day-to-day life. And even with the business, talking about money and different aspects of the business, I talk to them about it. They're super young and they probably don't understand a thing that I'm saying, but at some point I hope that they are interested in it. And yeah, but there's a lot. There's so much. There's a luckily so many resources now because so many more people are doing it. And it's
Yeah.
kind of amazing. Both my sisters have kiddos and have homeschooled them. And my nieces and nephews are remarkable people and
Yeah, the best
very smart.
behaved, hardest working kids I've met as of late have all come from like homeschool families. So it's like, okay, there's something to this for sure.
Yeah. And it also allows you flexibility with your family too, which I think, our kids grow up so fast. We have a certain amount of time to kind of be with them and be influential to them. And I want that time. And um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's exciting. It's exciting to kind of be going in that route. And I wouldn't be able to do it if I was working a more
Yeah,
traditional full-time job.
totally. With them being 3 and 4, like, do they have very different interests in like what they're just drawn to naturally? Like, what do they want to be when they grow up? Like Rigel, he's all about anything with wheels and engines, like tractors, side by sides. Like that's what he lives and breathes. I don't know what Hayes is going to be like because he's only a month old now. But like with your two, do they have like definitive interests that's just stark contrast to one another?
Sort of. So my son is, and it sounds quite a bit like Rigel, like typical traditional boy things, right? So cars and trucks and um, going fast and all of those things he is very into. But my daughter, being only 18 months younger, I see her following him in those things. So it's cool that brother's playing with his trucks and cars. So I want to play with that as well. But then she also has her, I want to dress up like a princess,
Hmm.
moments as well. Um, but it's cool that they are at in a phase now. In the beginning, it was really challenging. Newborn, 18 months. He was still a baby, I felt like, when I had her as a baby. And so it seemed like they were in two totally different phases of life. And now, being 4.5 and 3, they are like buds. They can
Hmm.
they do things together. So I see their interest more aligned than different. They both love being on the water, the beach, all of those things. But um, and I think my son is definitely making my daughter tough because he's
Nice.
rough and tumble as they get. So she is following suit.
Do they show any interest in like, getting into fishing and taking that over at some point?
Yeah, it's hard to tell if it's just cool because it's what dad does or
Hmm.
if they really have an interest in it. They both love fishing. We do a lot of fishing together as a family, and they love that. They love being on the boat. They love being on the beach. They love everything. Most things that we do are water centered. So, um, in, on, around the water, they love that. Whether or not they'll go into it, I don't know. I we'll see. And yeah, time
Yeah.
will tell.
Exciting though. The world is their oyster, as they say, and do anything. Where's
Definitely.
y'all based out of? Like, where's the boat's not docked out of season where y'all are at, right? Or is it?
So yeah, so we live in San Diego in California. And so we keep the boat there during the year. And then when he leaves, he fishes off of like Oregon, Washington coast. So
Nice.
yeah, but
Pacific
during the
Northwest is
rest of the
cool. I
year,
used to live up there. It's pretty country.
it is. It is. Yeah, it's we actually were visiting family. We were visiting family in Idaho, and he came in last week. I think it was last week, and so I jammed over to the coast with the kids, and we got to see him for about 24 hours, which was really cool. It was unexpected, little treat for us to
Because normally when he's gone for 5 months, like when they're getting supplies for 24 hours, like you don't typically get to see them during
know.
that span.
Before we had kids, I would try to come and I would just tag along, right? Like go to the grocery store, go to the offload, do all of those things. And he was busy running around, but I was, we'd get a meal together and be able to hang out for a little bit. It was good enough. It was worth it. With the kids now, it's a whole different
It's
ball
a
game. There's
lot to juggle.
yeah, and especially from San Diego. it's a flight, and it's not just a flight, it's a flight and a car rental and a 3-hour trip after the car rental for just such a short amount of time. And my kids are button pushers. So,
Yeah.
you let them on the boat. They love being on the boat, but they want to flip every switch and they want to
Yeah.
talk on every radio and all of the things, which we try to limit a little bit, at least during the fishing season.
How long did it take him to leave port in San Diego and get to where he's fishing up in the PNW?
So I would say that time of year, the weather can be pretty tricky at some of the spots from San Diego to the Oregon, Washington area with really bad weather. So if there's no bad weather and he can just go straight, I think it's only about 5 days. The boat goes pretty slow. And, it's a big, heavy steel boat.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes, I would say, typically about 7 days, 5 to 7 days to get up there. Yeah.
Where'd the name of the boat come from?
The name of the boat is Pikey, and it was the name of the boat before. We bought the boat in kind of nautical, I guess, tradition. Changing the name of the boat is bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
And so that name was what it was. JJ brought the boat from a really cool guy, and he was not able to say where the name came from either. So we don't know.
It's a mystery name. I like it. Pikey's a good name.
Yeah. Pikey. It's
very cool.
Yeah, one of a kind.
How long have y'all had that boat then?
I believe 2013 is
Nice.
when that boat was purchased. Yeah, so a little over 10 years now. Wow. Yeah.
So with y'all having had the boat that long and been fishing as long as you haven't, just been in that industry for as long as you have, but now having just launched the business this year, 2025, like, what do you see happening with it? What's got you excited? What's your blue sky thinking trajectory of it all?
It's interesting you ask that, because I think traditionally, and most people would say, I want to be in every Walmart, Target, Costco around. I don't think that that's where this is going. I hope to continue the direct to consumer. And I think that getting into like specialty markets would be really neat. Wineries are starting to carry different tinned fish. And so I think that would be kind of a cool area to get into like that, and just kind of expanding maybe our product line a little bit more. We have some ideas for that, and just getting the product out there to more people and being able to continue doing what we love and sharing our family's kind of life's work with other people.
Yeah, I feel like when you're creating something of such high quality, something that's craft, like you are, like getting into big box retail stores, like you miss the whole education component to the consumer at that point. And that's for the same reason we haven't gotten the bricks into big box stores. Like, I've been approached by some of these stores. Like, I intentionally moved away from it because it's like they're not going to understand what it is they're getting. And I would rather better serve the target demographic. And I feel like there's definitely an audience for what you offer. I mean, like I said, it's delicious, and being able to take the regenerative agriculture approach to the water, like, it just makes it full spectrum. So I think there's absolutely a need for it, and certainly a demand as well.
Yeah. And this is all, I mean, very new to us from the aspect of starting a business, which I'm sure all people who start a startup business know. It's been a learning curve from so many different aspects, but really trying to keep a hold on it too. We're really proud of the fact that we are a part of every step of it. So, from JJ catching the fish to bringing it in to making sure we're having it canned properly to then me dealing with kind of the backside of things. I imagine, and hopefully we do grow to a point where we need some help from other people, but being able to kind of keep a hand on all the things so we are ensuring that exceptional quality and being able to provide something that is not, you can't get on the grocery store shelves.
I think it's way better that way. Like I've done every part of our business and we've got employees doing aspects of it now, but it's like I'm glad that I did everything because then I can give them better direction and we just have a certain quality expectation that we don't deviate from as a result of that. And like if you come in and hire a bunch of people and then you just outsource everything and you're removed from it all, like you're blind to any issues that arise and those oftentimes become bigger issues. So yeah, I think having your a pulse on everything is good.
Yeah, it's really important. And even from building the website, like I contemplated, should we hire someone to do this? Should we, collaborate with, maybe a marketing firm or something to do this? And I'm like, no, we can do this. We can do this. And if we can't do it, we'll take that step when we need to. But let's try it. We are not afraid of hard work. This is ours. This is our company. We want full ownership of it, and let's make a go of it. Um, and it's really cool to be able to kind of leverage not only JJ's like expertise and knowledge and everything he's learned up until this point in his life on the water to produce something, but then I feel like I'm able to kind of, I'm not working as a nurse practitioner right now, but I'm able to use, my degree in nutrition and the experience with actual patients coming in and seeing them and seeing where these kind of gaps in health and wellness are and kind of merging those two things and coming up with something we're very proud of and proud to feed our family and proud to share with other people is been very rewarding.
No, it's super cool. Like I'm just amazed. I can talk business with you all day long, but I love what you're doing, and I
Thank
think
you.
you're making a quality product, and you're all intertwined, interconnected, and like he's doubling down on his strengths and attributes, and you're doing the same on your end, and you're doing it in a way that allows you to have a lifestyle at home with your kids so that you're able to parent them and not ship them off to some daycare. So it's cool. And I think the business, both the fishing component of it and like the business side of it, the administrative, the marketing, all that, that'll be a good vehicle to teach your kids lessons that they would never be able to pick up in a public school setting. So I think they'll
100%.
be way better off for it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And at the end of the day, we're a fishing family. This is what we do, and we definitely saw a need for this product, and we're able, at least right now, to make it work with our family, and hopefully can grow and survive and have a kind of a when the fishing years are not as bountiful as other years, be able to have this kind of in our back pocket as well. So we can
Yeah,
continue kind of doing all of these things we like to do. And um, yeah, it's exciting.
totally, totally. I'm assuming you probably eat seafood year round. I mean, you're on the coast. I mean, it just makes sense, right?
We do. We eat, we're, uh, I guess, self proclaimed kind of seafood snobs because we do have access to so much of it. And uh, being in that industry of fishing for so long, you know yourself what good fish is, what is not, and how to properly take care of all of the fish. So, for instance, when we are fishing just recreationally for our family, we catch just enough for like one meal at a time.
Mhm.
And we're able to do that because we have so much access to it. Um, but it's great having this canned fish as well because it is, I mean, I can't really tell you how many times it is 5 o'clock and I'm like, holy smokes, I didn't pull any meat out for dinner, or what are we going to have for dinner? And I'm able to open a can of tuna and do a tuna casserole or tuna burgers. So my kids love tuna burgers. Take about 5 minutes to put together and 3 minutes to cook.
What do
And
you what
so
do you pack it with? Like, you just do like beef and the tuna together?
No, I just do the tuna. So I just do tuna, and sometimes I'll use almond flour. Sometimes I like to make my own sourdough bread, so sometimes I'll use like sourdough breadcrumbs. Mix in with it with an egg and some seasonings, and just kind of mash it all up and cook it on each side for 3 minutes, and It's like a little tuna burger, little Albacore tuna
I'm
burger.
going to try that. I've been just eating it straight out of the can, but that sounds delicious.
Yeah. And, because it's such high protein content, right? There's 42 grams of protein in that little can for people trying to meet those goals. And it's not exactly keto, but, you eat it with avocado or put a little bit of mayo on there or something like that. You can up the fat content in it. But yeah, no, and it's fun cooking with the kids too, right? So they love it. They can make their own tuna sandwich if they'd like.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a little bit of a lifesaver for the not so meal planning mom that, I fall into that category. Oftentimes we get busy and it's just something easy to grab for. But yeah, we eat a lot of seafood, and we love it. And we know what good seafood is, and we wouldn't make something that we wouldn't eat.
Right,
So.
right. I love seafood. I'm in Arkansas, so I'm not really coastal at all. But my wife, man, she is not a seafood snob at all. She just doesn't eat fish. So I gotta I don't know. I gotta figure out a way to make her like it because I want to eat more of it and be easier.
Try that tuna burger thing. Or another thing that we really like, and I can make it for everyone, is kind of like a tuna protein bowl. So for the kids, I'll put rice in there, and the tuna and like shredded carrots or pickled onions. My kids are pretty adventurous food eaters, but
Mm-hmm.
and so we'll eat that, and then mine I'll add some like chili oil to, or make it spicy, or I'll have it on lettuce instead of the rice. And so yeah, the like protein bowls have been a big hit with them, and I kind of mix it in sometimes. But my daughter this morning, actually, she was refusing to get dressed. She was saying, I want tuna. I want tuna. I want tuna. She was carrying around a can of tuna. True story. And I'm like, get dressed first and I'll give you some tuna. No, I want tuna first. I want tuna first. I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready for this podcast. Have the tuna. And she just sat there with a fork and ate the tuna out of the can. And she did ask for onions. About
Nice.
halfway through, she wanted some onions with her tuna. Yeah. But anyways, I love that it can be, she had it for breakfast this morning. I don't know if I would recommend it for breakfast, but it can be, a traditional tuna fish sandwich, tuna melt, or it can be turned into a somewhat affordable, super high protein, packed with nutrients, selenium, vitamin D, B12, potassium, magnesium, all of these amazing things that a lot of times we're turning to supplements for. Omega-3s are off the charts in this fish. I think there's like 1,500 to 2,000 grams of omega-3s, milligrams, I'm sorry, omega-3 in a can of tuna. A supplement, a traditional omega-3 supplement, is like 300 to 500 milligrams.
Mm-hmm.
So
Big
you're
difference.
hitting so many things. But yeah, and there's a way she's going to like it. Try the tuna burgers.
Yeah, I'll try that for sure. I mean, it's so cool. Like Rigel the same way. He'll wake up, not want any clothes on, but he'll be carrying around a brick and then just be gnawing on that all morning, no clothes with a brick. But it's like, it's cool as parents to see your kid like genuinely long for the thing that you created. Right. And it's okay if I get no customers the rest of my life, but at least my kid loves it. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, no. And you feel good, right? It's not giving him opening up Fruit Loops or cornflakes or whatever. Like, that, okay, he's having a keto break. He's happy. My kids love the keto breaks as well, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. I had to start like kind of putting them in smaller little molds because they would just, gnaw on that thing, and then I'd find it in the play kitchen somewhere.
I've
or
definitely
something.
found some bricks in places where bricks shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yep, me too. So
that's awesome. Well, very cool, Jessica. What's the website for the company? I want people to go there and get some tuna.
Yeah, it's www.craftfishco.com. And we actually want to offer 15% off for listeners with code SAVAGE.
Awesome.
For
And you'll get
people's first
good
orders.
inventory there, or do you have to wait until he comes back with more fish for inventory?
So we have somewhat limited inventory. That's another thing. We are small batch. we can't run these massive orders at once. We are Yeah, so we have the Albacore in olive oil right now. Pretty soon, we'll also have the just natural pack and with just the fish and just the salt available. But yeah, I would say if anyone's interested in getting some, sooner than later is probably better, because um, unfortunately our raw material is only available for a very short amount of time throughout the year. So kind of forecasting that has been, we're still getting used to that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm super excited for you. There's
Thank
all
you.
kinds of opportunity out there, and you're doing it right. So I'm 100% behind people that are doing it the right way for the right reasons. So
Thank you.
keep doing what you're doing for sure, Jessica.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
For sure. Let's keep the conversation going. If you ever need anything from me, don't hesitate
Okay.
to reach out.
Okay. Will do. Thanks so much.
Take care.